So remember the last article, like the last one we just went over, and we were reading about another degenerate, and I said I'll look into that one. Yeah, here he is. Former RPD officer trial scheduled for June, February 2nd, 2024. A trial for a former Rochester police officer accused of, you know how YouTube is, with a minor and images from a minor is scheduled for June, according to Minnesota court records. Timothy Morgenstern, 23, now faces charges of third-degree criminal conduct, one charge of fourth-degree, and one charge of use minors in and this was 23. You can't be in law enforcement until you're 21. Let that sink in. Morgenstern's jury trial was scheduled to begin Monday, January 29th. On January 25th, his defense filed a motion to review the alleged juvenile victims' therapy records ahead of trial because they want to try to use some shit against them. On January 19th, Morgenstern's defense moved to omit any reference of the suspect's former work as a police officer from evidence, claiming that mentioning it could cause the jury to hold the man to a higher standard of action that could be expected otherwise. That's all they keep saying. We hold ourselves to a higher standard. We can't believe this is happening. Higher standards. Well, they don't hold themselves to higher standards. They hold themselves to a different standard. I keep telling you that, and here we are. Morgenstern's defense claims that holding the former police officer to a higher standard would be unfair in a court of law. But when they're standing up there and they're getting all their awards and shit. Oh, here's Mr. Higher Standard of the Year. He was Higher Standard in 2015. He was Higher Standard in 20... Please fucking stop. No. On Friday, February 2nd, Olmsted County Court scheduled Morgenstern's pretrial hearing for June 4th, followed by a jury trial June 10th. Previous hearing. A former Rochester police officer scheduled to appear in Olmsted County Court on Tuesday, January 23rd for a pretrial hearing in a criminal conduct case. Timothy Morgenstern, 23, faces one charge of third-degree criminal, one charge of fourth-degree criminal, and one charge of use minors in. Morgenstern is scheduled to appear in court at 2:30 p.m. with a jury trial scheduled to begin Monday, January 29th. On January 19th, Morgenstern's defense moved to omit any reference of the suspect work as police officer from evidence, claiming that mentioning it could cause the jury to hold the man to a higher standard of action than could be expected otherwise. Morgenstern's defense claims that holding the former police officer to a higher standard would be unfair in a court of law. ABC 6 News obtained a copy of the police department's oath of office, which is embedded below, and it is. It's a bunch of yada yada yada. We're the best. We hold ourselves to our higher standards. And I'll leave it here for a second if you want to stop it and go read it. It's just a bunch of patting each other on the back. According to court documents, the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office received a call from a therapist September 27, 2023, who says a 16-year-old girl disclosed an inappropriate relationship with a coach at Rochester Public School. The girl allegedly said the man worked as a police officer. The defense also moved to omit any explicit material sent by the victim for the jury trial. Of course, we're just going to say, we're just here because we got nothing else to do. Do you think he's guilty or not guilty of, I don't know, having a blue shirt on today, and he has on a red shirt, but he's not guilty. Okay. Former Rochester police officer Timothy Morgenstern pled not guilty to 3 criminal charges from that allegedly took place while off duty. The 22-year-old faces one count of third degree, 22 at the time. So, a year on, and here we are. The 22-year-old faces one count of third-degree criminal, one charge of fourth-degree contact, one charge of use. We're going over the same thing. Morgenstern was an employee of RPD for less than a year. He was allegedly in a position of authority over the victim. Wait, position of authority wouldn't that put him at a higher... Anyway, according to the court documents, the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office received a call from the therapist September 27th. It says a 16-year-old girl disclosed an inappropriate relationship with a coach at Rochester Public School. The victim told the therapist that her coach was 22 years old and worked as a Rochester police officer. Rochester Public Schools confirmed Morgenstern served as a volunteer speech coach from November 2021 until 2022. During his period of volunteering coaching, he received no complaints. We received no complaints about Mr. Morgenstern's conduct. A statement from the something P.S. Director of Communications read, by the time Mr. Morgenstern was placed on leave by the police department, he was no longer involved with the school in any capacity. Yes, I'd like to look into that and see. There's got to be something else going on. According to court documents, Morgenstern and the minor developed a relationship over text, which he allegedly turned inappropriate after taking steps to stop the minor from saving any of the messages. Morgenstern allegedly solicited photos and videos from the minor and sent explicit photos and videos to her in the summer of 2022. In June, he allegedly invited the minor to his home, where the pair had, and he told the minor not to tell anyone about the encounter. According to the court documents, the minor ended the relationship shortly after. Law enforcement obtained a search warrant of cell phone data, which they confirmed that Morgenstern had received images of the minor, as well as a search warrant to search for DNA evidence at his home, which was sent to the criminal, I don't remember, anyway, for testing. According to court documents, Morgenstern denied any involvement with a teenager. In a press release, RPD claimed they received a report on September 29th, 2022 about off-duty conduct by Morgenstern and immediately took action. The initial report was made to the Olmsted County Sheriff's Office and shared with RPD administration because the alleged crime took place in the city of Rochester. Recognizing a conflict of interest, RPD requested OCSO, Sheriff's Office. Police Department said nope, called the Sheriff's Office to conduct an independent, complete, and thorough investigation. RPD placed administrative leave before his next shift. RPD terminated him October 6, 2022 to conduct outlined in the case inconsistent with the core values of our department. Why? Do you hold yourself to a higher standard? No, we don't say that, because then we have to be held to a higher standard. Chief Jim Franklin said Morgenstern was hired October 7, 2021. During his brief time in the department, he received 2 letters of appreciation and no discipline because they never did anything. And he was only there for a minute and a half. Olmsted County Attorney's Office referred the case to the Fillmore County Attorney's Office for review. Fillmore County Court administration said Friday that although Morgenstern was fired from the Rochester Police Force in October, his court case was only open January 11th. Fillmore County attorneys will represent the state of Minnesota to avoid a conflict of interest, court administration added. As Olmsted County attorneys work closely with Rochester law enforcement, Morgenstern's pretrial hearing is scheduled for January 4, 2024, with his trial expected to begin 6 days later. Alrighty then. So, where are we at? We are. The former Rochester police officer and high school speech coach was found guilty on all charges in a criminal case. Morgenstern, a former Rochester police officer, was accused of conducting with a high school student. Charged with 2 counts of criminal with a minor, as well as use of a minor in Morgenstern's sentence is scheduled for April 18th. He was ordered not to have contact with anyone under age 18 in the interim and to surrender firearms and weapons. The jury spent 9 hours deliberating over the course of 2 days, ultimately leading to guilty verdicts. Speaking on behalf of the victim and her family, Special Prosecuting Attorney Brett Corson said they were pleased with the outcome. We are, I guess I would say, we feel that decision is consistent with the evidence that was presented in the case, he said. The defendant and his family, however, had a much different reaction. Morgenstern could be seen putting his head down on the table after the judge read the verdict. His family, who has been there throughout the trial supporting him, seemed to be in disbelief at the results. ABC reached out to Morgenstern's defense as well, still waiting for a response. Their response is going to be no comment. Here we are.
Guilty on all charges. That's the verdict in for Timothy Morgenstern, the former Rochester police officer charged and now convicted of criminal sexual conduct with a minor. Now, a jury found him guilty on 3 charges: sexual contact in the 3rd and 4th degree with a minor and using a minor in pornographic work. ABC 6 News reporter Chandler Jackson has been in the courtroom this entire trial. He joins us now live in our newsroom. Chandler, how did the jury reach this verdict?
Well, Maisie, it took 9 hours of deliberation, but now a former police officer could be on the other side of a jail cell. The state's case relied heavily on the testimony of the victim and her account of what happened. The victim accurately described the interior of Morgenstern's home, and they also had interactions through their connection with the John Marshall High School speech team. However, there was no evidence shown of inappropriate messages between the two, nor were there any sexually explicit pictures or videos found on Morgenstern's phone. In the end, the jury made their decision to convict Morgenstern of all 3 charges. His sentencing date has been set for April 16th, though he has been released on his own recognizance until then. I was able to speak with the prosecuting attorney following the jury's decision about his thoughts on the verdict and what comes next. I'll have more on that tonight at 6. Live in the newsroom, Chandler Jackson, ABC 6 News. Well, it is.
All right, let's see what this one's about down here, if this has got anything to do with it. Of course it'll be an ad.
Begin tonight in Rochester as the trial of Timothy Morgenstern ends in a verdict, guilty.
Morgenstern, now a former Rochester police officer and speech coach at St. John Marshall High School, is convicted on 3 charges, 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct with a minor and using a minor in pornographic material.
Now, a week and a half after that trial started, Morgenstern has been convicted on all 3 charges. Joining us live from the newsroom now is ABC 6 News reporter Chandler Jackson. He's been in the courtroom this entire trial. And Chandler, what was it like there today?
Yeah, Robin, Maisie, you could hear a pin drop as everyone awaited the announcement from the judge. When the verdict came down after 9 hours of jury deliberation over 2 days, the reactions were as you might expect. Speaking on behalf of the victim and their family after the verdict was read, prosecuting attorney Brett Corson said they were pleased with the outcome.
We are, I guess I would say, feel that that's consistent with the evidence that was presented in this case.
His family had a much different reaction. Morgenstern could be seen putting his head down after the judge read the verdict, and his family, who had been there throughout the trial supporting him, seemed to be in disbelief at the results. I also reached out to Morgenstern's defense attorney for comment as well, and I'm still waiting for a response. In the meantime, a sentencing date has been set for April 16th, and Morgenstern has been released on his own recognizance until then. Live in the newsroom, Chandler Jackson, ABC.
Thank you, Chandler. So, yeah, that's all on that. And, yeah, oath of office, because they take that so seriously until they don't want people to, hold them to the higher standards that they keep telling everybody they hold themselves to, because, they're above everybody. They're not. It's a double standard, and it's a different standard. They will investigate, they will hide shit, they will lie, they will admit shit, and then when shit just comes out and they find it, they will take the most serious charges and it will set them to the side, and they will look at charge A, B, and C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, P will be set aside. They'll look at the first 3 charges that are the lesser of anything, not even the charges that brought anything about. They'll say, what we can do is, we're going to drop all this serious shit, but you're going to have to do some kind of time. So, how long have you been in jail? 3 months? Okay, here's what we'll do. We'll say we're going to sentence you to this time for these charges because you completed these, and then we'll give you time served, and we'll just let you go home now. Does that work for you? Yeah, that works for me. Okay, that's what we're going to do. We're going to go tell everybody that to avoid a lengthy trial and as to not have to put the children through having to go to trial, this was in the best interest of the children. You're gonna get some time, but you've already done your time, so this is what we're going to do for you, and this is what we're going to tell them. This good for you? Yeah, okay, it's good for me. Okay, let's go. Now, when you walk out of here, you have no comment to anybody. You don't talk to anybody, because if you talk to anybody, all these other charges that we're holding over your head, we will bring them back. And trust and believe, we will. So, that's how that's going to work. Now, when you walk out of here, what do you say? When somebody asks you a question, no comment. And you walk to your car and you leave. It's total bullshit. It is total bullshit. Had this not been law enforcement, they would be under the prison. You can't make it up. Anyway, also 90% of people that watch these videos on their, computer, and some of them on TV, most of them on their phone, are not subscribed. I mean, you're already there with the device. Hit the button and like and share, and let me know what you think about this degenerate, and I'm out of here.